Hello, everyone. Majid is here. Hello, Majid. Ah, Nick. Kia ora, Nick. Male 43, New Zealand, 10 Alcoa Matua. Good to see you. You're okay. Thank you very much. Good to be here, everyone. So let's see if I can get rid of some of these stuff here, which I don't need at the moment. So, Jeremy, where have you been? Long time, Jeremy. How is the resolution and how is the sounding and resoluting? So this is the first time that I'm having a real streaming with the new system, the Studio, what is it? Studio Beta. So I hope it is on auto recording so I can upload it. We'll find out, I guess. So far it says enable DVR. I don't know what that is. 360 video. I don't know what that is. And added delay none. Closed captions. It's not lit, but enable DVR is lit. I don't know what that means, but it's lit. 360 video is not lit, but I don't know what that is. So if anyone knows, let me know. Jeremy, you might know, huh? Luna says, Salam Mehran, Salam Luna June. How are you keeping? And boy, am I glad to catch you this evening. Oh, delighted that you're here, feeling a bit down and lonely today, but trying to keep a positive mindset, inshallah. Of course you will. You know, it's a good topic to talk about. What about it? Let's be a little bit, there were things that I learned in university in martial arts about the movement of mind and body coordination and so on. And then, of course, I had a long research for years about works of scholars of 100 years ago, namely Mr. Jiddu Krishnamurti, who was often surrounded by psychologists and quantum physics professors from all over the world, asking their questions and his opinion about matters of the psyche and having discussion, all of them together. And so I progressed in what I was searching for, which was more knowledge about the movement of psyche and so on. And lately, I've been trying to compare it with the scientific data that has been researched by the scientists, psychotherapists, psychologists, and so on. And I find so interesting that science, through their research, have proven all this stuff that was been practiced since 1,000 years ago or 200 years ago, before science catch up. But since this is the world that people don't necessarily they're looking for more scientific values. That's how we've been conditioned since the school, that nothing is valuable unless scientifically is proven, which I don't believe in that, of course. There are lots of things that science is still behind. But because of that, so we can maybe talk a little bit science-y today, just so that we can get things describe in a different way. So what do you say, guys? This question that Luna put here deserves a good answer. So give me a moment, guys. All right. So Luna says, feeling a bit down and lonely today, but trying to keep a positive mindset, inshallah. So let me say hello to everyone. I'll get back because we want to start with a little discussion on the mechanics of the brain and how it actually helps or creates disaster for us. So on that note, Luna says, female 35 UK. Majid says, Mr. Mehran, don't ignore me, lol. Only joking. I didn't ignore you. Oh, yeah. Oh, I see. You know, the funny thing is I saw I saw your name. I thought those writings are mine, like when I say hello. But no, Majid is right. I happen to ignore him unconsciously. Majid says, Bah, آقا مهران گل خوش اومدین استاد. How are you been? Well, this was a mixture of Farsi and English that Majid had sent his message. Thank you very much, Majid, and I appreciate it. I apologize if I ignored you. It certainly wasn't intentional. It just, somehow I thought that is not a message. I thought it's just part of the writing. It was right underneath the other stuff that the YouTube system announcement stuff is there. So and Stephen says, hello, Mehran. Hello, Stephen. Nick says, hello to Luna. Okay. And Stephen says, male 40, Los Angeles. And and Nikki says, happy Saturday, Mehran. And thank you very much, Nikki. Good to see you here, dear. Nikki, Florida, right? Right? Steven says, haven't felt good last couple days. I wake up in the morning and thoughts kind of take over. I guess I've been kind of depressed and lack motivation. Okay, I guess that would fall into the category that we want to talk about. And so hang on. And Nazra says, hi dear Mehran, Nazra, female 21 from Atlantic, New Jersey. Good to see you, dear Nazra. I wish I could see you guys. And Nick says, proverb for the day. Drum roll. That's wonderful. Proverb for the day, folks. He says, Hi aha te mea nui iteao. He tangata. If no one knows, they think I have a stuttering problem because I just said the same thing 3 times. And the meaning is, what is the most important thing in the world? It is people. It is people. It is people. Well, it was worth the stuttering, that's for sure. Thank you very much, Nick. So we read it again. He aha te mea nui ite ao. He tangata. What is most important thing in the world? It's people, it's people, it's people. Isn't that true? Isn't that true? That's for sure. Thank you for that, Nick. Yasin says, hi, Doc. Do you remember me? Yes, but do you remember I said I'm not a doctor? Yasin, remember, I am not a doctor. Disclaimer. Majid says male 34, muscular, slightly going towards chubby since London lockdown. Since size, what is it? Shoe size 9. Oh, you grow. It was 8, wasn't it? Thick eyebrows, proud Iranian. Oh, and and what male London? Okay. Don says, good evening, my love. Hello, darling. How are you? And I just introduced Don is from UK. So, and Leona, that's the first time, Leona, isn't it? Leona, also written in Farsi. Oh, it's interesting. Female, 27, Czechoslovakia, or Czech Republic. Sorry about that. I went for the old. That tells you how old I am, right? The Czechoslovakia time. So, Leona, female, 27, Czech Republic, random notion. I had no idea you have long hair until now. No, I didn't. It's just Corona. I can't go to any barber or hairdresser to cut these. I try to hide them in the back, but every time, these days, all my videos, especially the 15 or so videos I did recently during the past month on the HOCD, OCD, transient thoughts, intrusive thoughts, negative thoughts. These are a complete, pretty good series. I recommend it for anyone, whether you have HOCD, negative thoughts, or don't, which I know every human being on earth has intrusive thoughts. So let's don't kid ourselves. We all do. And we need to understand its mechanism and understand its relation to our brain and to get knowledgeable about this. So I recommend it if you guys like to take a look at it. There are 15 of them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 17, and goes to a 15. So watch them all. You don't have anything else to do, for heaven's sake, so watch them. But make sure you like and make comments. So we have David. Oh, and Leona says hello, by the way. Hello, darling. Thank you for observation of. I don't know what to do with it. I gotta get a scissors and just cut it. I'm beginning to. If I have a ponytail and put a cigar in my, and then maybe a French, partisan cap, I would look like the World War II spy novel characters. Sadaf Hassan says hello again. Hope you're well. Thank you, Sadaf. Thanks for being here. Dawn says, I'm okay, thanks. In bed. Had a busy day and tired. Ah, well, all right then. I'm the nighttime story. Yasin says, you laugh a lot today. This is great. Positive energy. Well, listen, there's nothing else to do but laughing. Laughing is good for us. At the same time, you never know what we're laughing to or at or for. But it's better than crying. That's for sure. Or anything else. And it does make us feel good, doesn't it? Majid says, so Mehran, did you say you're going to talk about the science behind a thought? Example, NLP, looking forward to this. Thank you. No, not NLP. I'm directly going to talk about the connection between our habits and the reward system and the mechanics that happens between the parts of our brain, which we hardly really look at them often. So in here, I just want to make sure that we have a little bit more understanding of this whole thing rather than theory. All right. Let's see what else do I have here that I want to. Okay. So what else we have here before we get on to our discussion? And Leona says, not Farsi, Arabic. My husband is Egyptian, but doesn't make a difference in name anyway. And we are going through some rough times now, and that's why I'm here now. Oh, okay. Well, yeah, these are Arabic alphabets, but in Farsi also used similar alphabets, same alphabets. But the story goes, in the old times, when the Arabs invading anything and every country, they also invaded Iran. And there it was, the poets and the literalies, the people of literature in Iran at the time, Persia, created the grammar, they created the alphabets and all these for that language. And still to this day, there are few different alphabets that it's not used in Arabic. Like pe. Most people who speak Arabic, it's a bit challenging to say Pepsi. So they say Bepsi. So there are a couple of things. So these alphabets are related historically between Persia and the Arabic alphabets. And that's why. But for me, I see it, I call it Farsi because that's how I got to know it. We had to study Arabic in school for 3 years. And to be honest with you, it was the most difficult thing I'd ever come across. Very difficult to understand it for us because the grammar was different. It's more complete than French. The French have la, lo, masculine, feminine, and all that. The Arabic language is even more complete in that, so it was very confusing. So we really never learned it. We just tried our best to kind of, I don't know, cheat or something, get the grade. It's a very complicated language to me, at least at the time it was. Anyhow, John Brooks says, my intrusive thoughts, themes change with time, but thanks to you, I always get over them. Delighted to hear that. John, would you be kind enough to give us a little protocol, like age, gender, where you're tuning in from, so we have the demographics. I also need to know everyone's age because I need to know who am I speaking with, how young they are, so I could tailor it and make sure that it's appropriate because I can't tell who's at what age. And sometimes I've engaged in conversations about certain important matters and later on, I was assuming this person is like, 20 or something, but he was 16. So if I know it, it would be very helpful. The D Inc. says, Happy Easter, sir. Hope you have a good one. Thank you very much. Easter was last week, wasn't it? It was like a few days ago. But thank you and happy Easter to you as well. Just let me. Okay. So we have Luna says, a cigar in your hair, not my hair, my mouth. Mehran, what what would be revolutionizing the classic French twist hairstylist that we see the ever so chic Audrey Hepburn dawning from time of yes, that's right. Of course, better than crying, Yasin says. Yasin says, thanks for positive energy. Steven says, found myself being too nice. Like at work, I'm always buying lunch or coffee for coworkers and helped out a girl with her resume. I feel like I just don't get the same in return from people, like I am trying too hard. Yes, you are. I want to live in the present, he says, and make the most of each day. It's just hard when my thoughts take over and sometimes live in the past. Plus, feel kind of alone and missing a relationship. We all do, but that's part of life. You're not supposed to think of what's happening with you or what's missing in your relationship or in your, I don't know, fun time during the day. It's a negative. It's just part of life. Sometimes the sky is blue and sunny, sometimes it's raining and dark, sometimes, but it's all part of the environment. But we all have been conditioned to think that life is when I have the right food, I have this pretty girl serving it, or I have this pretty girlfriend, and I have this car, and I have this money, and I have this vacation, and I have this job, and I have everything, and it's sunny. Who said that? That's our expectations due to unreasonable and unrealistic programmings that we've received since childhood, so they can control us and use us and abuse us to do what they want us to do by promising these, that if you do this, you will have this. All bullshit. And we never got that, what was supposedly advertised, but we did become the slave to go through the system and function as a robot, hoping that that will lead us to this green pasture or whatever you may call it. But it was all just a way to take that reality and enjoyment of life, of everyday life, with all its ups and downs, away from us because of false expectation. And this is why we've got so many unhappy people, because they think happiness is when everything is actually have fallen into place, conditioned to think that's the only way to be happy. Rather than finding happiness, like if you want to find an Easter egg, go find it, it's there. But no, unless I see it, it's not there. That's how we've been conditioned. By the way, the Easter egg thing was a spare the moment thing, but it came out all right, didn't it? So anyhow, let me go back to what I was saying. John Brooks says, 19 from England. Thank you for that, John. And Nazra says, Mehran, last 2 weeks was feeling very down and anxious about this COVID-19 situation. Did you have a tip how did deal mails and groceries stuff? Because that's only stuff freaks me out. Any help for that? Are you saying how to buy groceries and stuff? Is that what you're saying? It freaks you out every time you go out? Is that what you mean? Because you shouldn't. Just go at the hours that you think is not most um, populated. Usually, most grocery stores, if they are um, with discipline, like big supermarkets, they have systems. Everybody lines up, stay away from each other 2 meter. They're let into the store when it's not, when it's time, it's not meets their numbers, and because they don't let everybody at the same time go to the store as it used to be. And then you have your gloves and a mask, if that's concerning you. I sometimes have it and sometimes don't, depending on who I see, what kind of people are there, how close they are. If somebody coughs, I have my mask in my pocket, I put it up. Depends on how I feel the environment is, but usually all the baskets are sanitized by the store. If it's a reputable store, then they're put in the baggage. Everybody has gloves on. You buy it, you take it out, come out, and that's it. Once a week you go shopping, which means I gotta go shopping tonight. So it shouldn't be freaky that much, but I guess it is because you're in New York, no? Am I right? Yeah. And also I was gonna continue this for Steve when I was talking about it. I lost that thread. Also, Steve, remember, stop doing things for people unless they ask for it. Remember what I just said? It doesn't say don't do things for people. No. Be yourself, be kind as you are. But if you do things for people before they ask for it, they won't appreciate it. And they think you have an ulterior motive, which you may. We all could. Ulterior motive could be anywhere from she's pretty and I want to get to know her, so I help her even though she didn't ask, or you're doing it for, I don't know, some old lady or somebody else, some old man or somebody that you seem to think needs help because you want to feel good about yourself. So, and you think there's a watcher, somebody's watching you from the above, so you'll be considered a good person. These are all things that are going through in your own head. But if you're doing it because you think, well, it's humanity, that person needs help and I can help, it's not going to trouble me, okay, great, why not? But most often is better if you simply wait until somebody who needs help asks you, and then you see if you can do it. Not everybody's like that, but some people have this problem of appreciating a help that comes to them without asking, because they think they're doing you a favor when you're doing something for them. They don't appreciate it well, or they think that's how much it's worth. It's free, so it worth nothing. So, but if you respond to a request for help, that makes you even feel better. Unless you have something to gain, which again, I don't know. Everybody likes to help pretty girls. That's or older people, so that's okay in any case. But one thing is for sure, if you do help people, then don't go around and think, oh, I wasn't reciprocated. Do it for nothing or don't do it. if that's what you want to do. They didn't appreciate. Well, what are you doing it for? To be appreciated, or are you doing it from the goodness of your heart? You got to get these things clear, and then either do it or don't do it. But don't do it for an expectation, because then you won't be happy. You'll be upset. Why did I do it? Because I didn't get what I wanted. Well, you weren't supposed to, so don't expect it. So pay yourself by saying, I want to do it, and that's my payment. Because I want to do it, so I'm just going to do it. So you won't be disappointed that way. Zoe says, sir, I'm unable to forget that my boyfriend betrayed me after 4 years. If you forget about it, does that mean he didn't do it? So why is it so important for you to forget about it? Just live your life. Recognize it's there, but you don't need to poke on it. You don't need to follow the train of thought that comes with that. Just, yeah, flash comes in, oh yeah, he betrayed you. Okay. I recognize it and focus on your life. But once you recognize that and then go in there and try to say, why, this and that, start data hunting, finding reasons and going there, it just takes you away from your life, which is real and actual, takes you somewhere that is dead. There is nothing happening there. It's the memory of it, and it's debating with a thought that has no existence, has no life. It's a neuron, a reaction to some possibility or availability of information in your consciousness that has picked up and reminds you of something, triggers it. So where are you going to go with it? What are you going to build with it? Intrusive thoughts are part of our humanity. People have all kinds of intrusive thoughts. People have pedophile intrusive thoughts, harm intrusive thoughts to themselves or to somebody else, to, I don't know, just push them over the train station when the train comes in. You could have all kinds of intrusive, homosexual thoughts if you're heterosexual, or vice versa. If you're homosexual, you might have heterosexual thoughts that could be intrusive to you. You could have all kinds of thoughts that is not normal. And none of them you intend to act on them at all. But they are intrusive thoughts. That's part of human psyche that comes to everyone's mind. There is no one here that could ever say that they didn't have an intrusive thought of some kind. Pedophile, killing someone, raping someone, homosexual suggestions that you're going to be gay or you're going to be bi, or any other thing that is opposite of what you are. And you never intend or have interest in any of them, but these intrusive thoughts can come. But the people who actually are not having a glitch in the Qaeda part, the shift that changes the signal to all clear, the caudate nucleus sometimes gets stuck and doesn't get back, doesn't change the gear that, okay, these thoughts came, I'm not interested in it, and therefore it shuts down the thought or the images, and you continue your thing. That's what people who are not in a OCD mode. But people who are in OCD mode, which again, everybody has OCD at one kind or another, at one time in life or not. If you haven't, you will. That gets stuck, that thought, because the caudate nucleus doesn't function as automatically as it always did, and it can't change the gear. Even though orbital cortex has created something is wrong, which is against your nature, has alerted you with that image or thought, and then cingulate gyrus goes in and creates the anxiety for you to do something, give signal, and caudate nucleus, which is supposed to go and shut that because it's against your interest and your inner system knows about it and quietly gives a signal that that's not my interest. But caudate nucleus somehow gets stuck in changing that signal, sending that signal, so the whole process stops. But it doesn't stop because it just can't register that signal for your cortex to quiet down, stop the question or image. So this, what you're saying here, if I remember what it was, that you, who actually was the question? Let's see. Okay, you forget that you've been betrayed. Yeah, okay. So what happens is that you get into a glitch when you have these thoughts showing up. You might have created an OCD about it, which the images that is triggered for this for the problem that you were facing with your boyfriend stays there. And for that, you need to simply recognize that this is a malfunction, why it stays there, and you want to correct that. So how do you correct it? By your behavior, by not paying attention to data hunting about the subject. A trigger has come in, you remember boyfriend betrayed you, or some intrusive thoughts have come in of any kind, and you recognize that it's there, but you don't engage with it. You don't debate with it, you don't go into it, you don't try to fight it, you don't try to say, yeah, what are you doing here to the intrusive thoughts. You just say, okay, I recognize it, but that's intrusive thoughts. A malfunction is happening with the caudate nucleus, and the gear is not shifting to shut it down, so it's there. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna help the gear. By what? By how? By simply recognizing that intrusive thoughts or whatever it is, it's there, and I just focus on what I'm doing. My behavior of recognizing, not resisting, not debating, not getting engaged with the discussion of it, and the fact that I'm focusing on my daily life and whatever it is that I'm doing, as uncomfortable as it may be because the image is there and you're disgusted and all that, but that's all right. Just let it be, but don't engage with it. Continue whatever it is that you're doing, and this behavior shows a disinterest. So the signal is sent that regardless of what you're showing and the image or the thought stays up there in my theater, in the screen on my head, there is no attention being paid to it. Your behavior, after a while, kind of delivers the signal from the caudate nucleus right to where it's supposed to go, and it learns a new behavior, which is called neuroplasticity. So you're reprogramming, rewiring your brain to fix this problem by your behaving toward this incident. So then after a while, it becomes corrected, and every time that it shows up, you simply do the same thing until it shows up less and less and less and less, and then it becomes much more manageable, and you'll have your regular life without any interruptions of any kind. So you need to learn that you have the power to fix things when they go wrong, rather than becoming panicky about it, that, oh, my goodness, this is, now I'm changed. Now I'm going to be a pedophile. Now I'm going to kill someone. Now I'm going to be gay. These are malfunction of the signaling system in the brain for the people that are being attacked with what they're not. They've never been, and it's clear to them what their interests are and what reasonability is in many other intrusive thoughts and so on. So that could help out for you to know these sort of things about yourself, to become the mechanic of your own machine, and to be able to deal with these sort of things. There's something I'm looking here for you guys, but somehow cannot find it. All right. So, are we going to start talking, or are we still going to have to see who's here? I want to see everybody's questions so we can at least answer them in one go. Saraf says, I haven't been sleeping very well lately. My sleep breaks a lot. I also get nightmares more often these days. Well, obviously, you all know that I'm not a doctor. I'm not a psychologist or psychotherapist or any kind of that sort. So what I'm saying here is basically my research or my experiences for the supplements that I talk about. There is something, Sadaf, is called cortisol manager. Cortisol manager, it just manages the cortisol level that you are experiencing at night, and shuts down and makes you not to be responding to the stress level at nighttime. So it brings that down, and it's all natural. It's not a drug or anything. So sometimes it just simply calms. It doesn't put you to sleep, but it manages the cortisol level, and then you naturally sleep. So you might want to ask for your nutritionist, your naturopathic doctor about that. Adrian says, hello, Mehran. This is Rocky. Hello, Adrian. Hello, Rocky. Question, do you have any food recipes from back home? Oh, a special dessert that you use to eat back home in Iran on celebrations? Thanks. Well, I ate lots of desserts and all, but I never knew how to make them. But there is one thing that I somehow, when I was a kid, like when I was not kid, just almost 18, before I left Iran 40 years ago, I studied business administration in university, so I was into business. I wanted to make money, so I always had different ideas, and was not shy of working. So when I was preparing to leave and come to Canada, so I thought, okay, let me have some of the possibilities that I think would be unique. So there was certain kind of a dessert that I actually went to the places that they were making it and learned how to make it by writing it down. I didn't work there or anything, but I asked the person who was in charge of making that dessert, and I wrote it down, and I wrote a recipe, how it's done. So in case I might want to open a store, I was young, or, I still have that dream to have that special cold dessert, and for Hawaii. I never have had the guts to pull it through. So, and I'm getting old to do it now. But I don't have a recipe really that I can be sure how it turns out and all that. Petite Man 18 England Mail, thank you for that. Hello, Mehran. He says, I hope you're doing well with this quarantine hell. I feel very down lately. I have to open my books and get revision done, but I can't. How can I have a good mindset? Why can't you? You say you can't because you say you can't. If you say I can, then you will. Relate the result of what you don't want to do, relate the result of it to your advancement in life. Whatever it is that you want to accomplish, whether it's just finishing the year, or is it preparation for university, or is it preparation for ultimate after university getting a job or your career. So connect what you are supposed to be doing, opening your books and doing the revision, all that, which you don't want to do, to what you actually could see it would benefit you with. So connect the effort to the benefit, and then you will see you have a motivation. Suddenly, I want to do it. It's like you're hungry, but you don't want to cook. But if you connect the cooking to your hunger go away, get stronger, and feel good, you might say, hell with it, I'll cook. So you start washing the vegetables and stuff like that, and you start doing the work. Because it's not the work you're focusing on, it's the benefit that that work is going to bring to you is what you're focusing on, which kind of catapults you from the chore that you're facing with to the pleasantry of the result, which gives you that, something good is happening, and dopamine is going to be secreted in your brain. And then you say, I want to do it because I know how happy I will be when I do it, because I recognize I did something to benefit me as a result of it and in the future, and I'm going to get dopamine. So your brain will be encouraged for that. You're kind of tricking your brain, but nevertheless, that's something perhaps worth doing it. The essence is, how can I be motivated all day? You don't have to. Just enjoy. Just watch some movie or do something. All day, everything is locked down. So what motivation do you want to have? Something to eat, something to watch, something maybe to read, something to learn. Small things. Bring your motivation to be generated by small things. If you misunderstand yourself, you think motivation must be something big, that is my motivation, then you're going to lose all kinds of motivations whenever you need it. But if you attach the motivation to small things, like, I don't know, I want to have an orange, but you know what? Let me do this. I'm going to have the orange. Small things. A tea. I'm going to have tea. Well, great. I'm going to finish this. I'm going to make myself tea. Just going to sit in the sun maybe, or just think a little bit, or meditate. I'll meditate to get out of this whole thing that is kind of make my mind a little bit foggy. So I'm just going to go into a different world by meditating and have my tea. You see, life is happening here. So if you can focus on little things that makes it as plausible, possible, and you can do it without much effort, then the motivation would be a natural happening. And then while you're doing it, motivation becomes habitual, becomes something that doesn't need any reason for it. They did a study in rats. They conditioned the rat to listen to at the starting point, to listen to a certain tone, a sound, and there were two options in front. If the rat would go a few steps forward and turn to the right, it would get sugar water. If it would turn to the left, it would get chocolate milk, which rat likes both of them. But one sound, he was supposed to recognize that would be go turn to the left to chocolate milk, and the other sound was go forward and go to the right for the sugar water. And unless he would coordinate that, and with the right sound would make the right turn, it would not get the praise. So eventually he was conditioned to listen to the proper sound, understand that sound means turn left. So it would go turn left, it would get the chocolate milk. It would go turn right with the different sound signal and get the sugar water. So it was conditioned for that. And a couple of hundred times they did that. And then they overtrained him. Like they did it a few other hundred times, but this time, now that he was doing everything correctly, when he would go to get the chocolate milk, they would put some kind of a medicine in it that he would get nauseated. So you would say, if he gets nauseated, he would stop going there, wouldn't you? But no longer, because now his motivation to respond to that sound, the signal, wasn't to get the chocolate milk, to get the dopamine from the center of his brain. There was no need for motivation. It was not habitual. It was not his habit to listen to the sound and go to the chocolate milk. And even though it would make him vomit or nauseated, he would still have the urge to go there because it had become habitual. So remember, guys, when you do something too often, constantly, thinking about something or not treating yourself right by standing your ground and being aggressive on the intrusive thoughts that shows up, to call the intrusive thoughts for what it is rather than being bamboozled by it and thinking, oh, intrusive thought has a message. It's from a deity, from my inner self that I didn't know about, that I'm going to go be gay, or I'm going to be a pedophile, or I have to be thinking in this way, or I have to wash my hands 5 million times, OCD and HOCD and all these things. If you keep doing it, and by doing this, debating, data hunting, whatever the subject is, and looking for evidence and searching and paying attention to the intrusive thoughts, and then because of your compulsion being the thinking about it, you get a certain kind of a dopamine satisfaction because you attended to this signal that came in and was obnoxious to you, not your nature, and then you had to fight with it and you debated with it, and then you went data hunting, and because you did all this compulsion of thinking about it, you get satisfaction. And that satisfaction, being your compulsion, after a while, it's not looking for the dopamine or satisfaction that I did resist or I did do something about it. It becomes a habit to let these intrusive thoughts keep coming, because now you entertain them, you debate with them, you engage with them. That became part of the habitual. It's no longer you're thinking about, oh, it's intrusive thoughts, it disgusts me. You're not thinking about what it is. You're just thinking about that I want the compulsion of something. And my habit is now to entertain this, to engage with this. That is where the problem starts, because then, so far, it was simply a respond to a pop-up intrusive thought, but then after you keep doing it, then it kind of becomes hardwired that you are going to be entertaining this. And when you entertain it after a while, you think it's actually something that you're familiar with. And these thoughts will never go away because now they're just there. You didn't behave in such a way that the thought and the system would understand that I got to change gear because this is not normal for this person. But you entertain it and it becomes stronger in its ability to not change gear and just stay. So you're constantly being annoyed and you think, well, I got to now debate with it, go data hunting, find out and try to prove that I'm not gay, or I'm not a pedophile, I'm not a killer. And all all you're doing, you're conditioning yourself opposite of what you don't want, opposite of what you want to do, which is getting rid of these. So if you understand the mechanism that is at work when you give in to something that is not in agreement with your nature, if you understand everything can find a foothold if you treat it and make it to seem it's important, then you heighten your defensive systems, and it's like you're shining a spotlight on it to surveil it and to watch for it, and that attention makes it to find a foothold to stay and appear more and more, because it says, well, they take me for my face value. Instead, what you should be doing should be focusing on your mindfulness. Okay, I know who I am. My inner self, my inner wisdom, my super consciousness, my advisor, my advocate, my wise advocate, which is within me, inside me, my gatekeeper, knows who I am, knows my gender. I know my gender, my history. I always liked girls. I'm not a pedophile. I'm not a killer. I know all these things from my super consciousness, from my wise advocate, from my advisor, from my inner self. Mindfulness reminds me and makes it clear, because it is a mindfulness that is watching me from above and knows my thoughts and knows these thoughts, intrusive thoughts, suggestions, are not mine, are not me, have nothing to do with me. But you never take the time to reinforce it by mindfulness, by reminding yourself of who you are, how you're put together. And these thoughts, when you engage with them, they get the foothold because you're engaging with them, you're conditioning them, hardwiring them that they can stay, they can show up, and you're constantly going to be bothered by it. Your life is going to be disrupted, your thought process is going to be disrupted, you're going to be distracted, you're going to be annoyed, you're going to be disgusted, because you simply did not do the right thing, which is recognize they're there and say, okay, there are thoughts can be there, like dust in the wind, wind comes and dust lifts up, all kind of things becomes apparent that they're there. But okay, I don't have to focus on them, because eventually if I let the wind go down, the dust settles and I don't see them anymore, and I can go about my business. And that's what you want to do, because thoughts are available like everything else in the world, because everything else in the world is possible, it's there, but most things are irrelevant to you. Just because it exists in the world and it can pop up in the form of a thought, because it exists in the world, it doesn't mean that it's relevant to you. But when you understand this, therefore, when they show up, you simply focus on what you're doing. You recognize they're there. You say, okay, there are thoughts. They can be there, but they don't mean anything to me. They're irrelevant to me. And I go and I understand that and know that by being mindful about who I am. And therefore, they fall by the wayside because I'm not paying attention to them. I'm paying attention to my life. So in other words, you're hardwiring your life and your persona, how you are, more and more every time they show up, by ignoring them, recognizing them, but ignoring them, but focusing on what you're doing and mindfulness about who you are. You're actually using that to become more and more powerful in your lifestyle, as how it's always been, and it will always continue. But you won't be distracted by the stuff that is going to be annoying you or causing you to think that any intrusive thoughts or pop-up thoughts could have a meaning or relevance to you just because they showed up. By understanding how the psyche works, this will not become a mystery to you anymore. It's become something that is part of the human psyche's malfunction and part of the happening in everyone's mind, and this is how you should be treating it in order to have that peace and tranquility that you need to continue your daily life as you always have, without any distraction of this sort. Okay, now, What else do we have here? Let me put this aside here. So hope our discussion today was a little bit different than other days. Now we can pay attention to your questions here. Linda says, I was told if I overgive, you're saying I am not worthy. So I have to bring something along with me. Linda, see, I was told if I overgive, you're saying I'm not worthy. Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Depends on who, actually. But it could eventually work that way. So I have to bring something along with you. Yeah, that's right. That means you're not worthy, but you got to bring something more in order to become worthy. Yeah, because that's the dilemma that we've always been conditioned with, that we always think that we're not good enough. We got to do something to be good enough. So these are questions that goes through our minds. Let's see, somebody sent a message there. All right. So Emmanuel says, hello, Mehran. Hello there. Casanova says, hello, Mehran. Male 26 Beijing. Thank you for that. Emmanuel says, male 27 Boston. Thank you for that. Stay safe, everyone. Casanova says, thank you. And Stephen says, thanks for advice, Mehran. You're quite welcome. Hilde. That's a German name, isn't it? Hilde. Where did she go? Hilde disappeared. Patrick Laville says, hi, Mehran. Hello, Patrick, dear. I guess I missed your line there. I just saw it. And Omar T says, hello. Hello, dear. And Majid says, Mehran, when you talk about these thoughts, may I ask one question? Of course. Majid says, I don't have thoughts like killing someone or being gay, etc. I do have thoughts negative about myself, especially thoughts people dislike me, especially girls who the same thing. Yeah, it is. It's a OCD of thinking negative about yourself, that I'm not good enough. And you're trying to find reasons why I'm not good enough, or, instead of focusing on that I am good enough. I'm good enough for lots of people. I should be focusing on where they are. And every time that somebody doesn't like me, well, they got to show it that they don't like me. Well, why should I imagine they don't like me? Why? For what reason? Because we somehow have been duped in believing that we are not good enough since childhood. Since childhood, we've been compared, always compared, between the siblings, between the family, children, in school, in churches, in wherever it is that you are engaged in social activities, in competitions, in studies, in school, in sports, always competing, always comparing. So constantly we've been conditioned since childhood, because we couldn't have been winning everything. We've been conditioned, we've been compared more downwardly than upwardly, because there are more people who do more things better than we do one thing better than everybody else does. So what does that mean? But if we're constantly focused on that we're not good enough, we're compared and all that, we kind of get the idea that, well, it's power of suggestions. If kids at school, calling you negative names, and you're a child, you want to be popular, you want to be with other kids, and when they are mean or stupid or lack of proper behavior or treatment in their own families, so they come and dump it on other kids in order to make themselves feel good. They think that will gain them something, and they call other kids names, whatever they call them, gay or whatever else negative to different kids. Whether they are or not, they're gonna call different negative names, and that could affect the child. You keep calling a child, oh, shorty. Well, look, it's not fun. You keep calling the kid scaredy cat. Hey, coward. It's a child. Or you call him gay. Whether he is going to be offended, and if he's not, is going to be offended. So all these are constant lack of proper energy being extended to us from childhood through everyone, and then everyone picks it up and does it the same to the other people. So generally we have been raised to think we are not good enough for one reason or another. All false. All false. The kid who was gay in school and was picked on was great as anybody else. He'll be judged based on his contribution to the society and community, what kind of a life he will have. And the kid who wasn't gay and called him gay, he's going to be affected by a suggestion that it's strange to him, but he's supposed to now try to figure that out at that age. Why do they call me that? So that's the idea they suggest, and kids are impressionable. And that's going to have an effect. Later on, when they grow up, they're going to find out why. So that's going to occupy their mind until they eventually figure out it's all nonsense. A human being is a human being, and it's not based on what other people utter at him or her, and it's based on their own individuality and what they know about themselves and what they want to accomplish in this world and how they affect other people in the world and world in general, and that's their value. So we are not given the chance to be raised in positive atmospheres, even by other stupid kids or adults, because who are adults? They don't know shit either in most of the cases. So this is one of the things that happens to you, is because somehow, somewhere, you got the idea that you're not good enough. Whether by what we just talked about, or by you, through the propaganda of the world, thinking that the only way you can know that you're good or not, you're valuable or not, you're a real man or not, is if a girl pays attention to you. That would have happened in normal negotiation of life day to day anyhow. But they made it as if it's a prerequisite for you to know if you are good, valuable, or not. It became a measuring stick while it's a natural thing. Heterosexual boy likes girls. Heterosexual girls like boys. And that's going to happen. But make it a condition that you're only good if the girl looks at you or pays attention. Then every girl that doesn't look at me is going to make me feel like, oh, I'm not good enough. And that girl that does, it's never going to be enough, because I'm still going to think I'm not good enough, because I need all the girls like me. They have made a condition that is an impossible condition, which affects on the psyche of the human beings, especially young men. And the combination of these kind of programming and the name callings of other stupid kids on each other and everything else, it causes lots of confusion for no reason. And after all that, they figure out, oh, well, I am what I am. I've always been what I've been. And no need for all these debates or fact findings. Just wasted all my time. Why? Because I allowed suggestions to get into my head rather than being nurtured from the childhood that I am good enough. The whole society would be promoting that. All this competition nonsense are nonsense, and it will just leave a negative effect on our minds. Anyhow, that's what I think. Now, Emmanuel says something that I'm trying to find the relevance, but I can't. It says, have you heard of the benefits of coconut oil? I really recommend it. Yes, I have, but I don't know for what. Cooking or for skin, or there are lots of good things about coconut oil, that's for sure. But I'm just trying to find, is there any relevance in the other? Maybe I should go from all right. Majid says, reason I ask is to treat it with the advice given. I see. Mm-hmm. Yeah. The advice given is that you are good, you are great. Don't worry about who doesn't like you. Not everybody's gonna like us, and that's okay. I'm okay with people not liking me. I just look for the ones who like me. That's the pleasant part. But the fact is, don't look for who doesn't or who does. Just do your thing. You will see who doesn't, you stay away from them. And you will see who does, you will be enjoying their company. Simple. No need to constantly have this need for assurance. That is an OCD itself. I need to make sure. It's no different than checking the doorknob 3 times if it's locked, or checking the kitchen before you want to go out. Just be mindful, and once when you're locking the door, focus. I am putting the key in the lock. I am turning the lock. Click. Locked now. The door is locked. I pull the key out. I remember what I did. I touch the doorknob. It's locked. Mindfulness on that action. I remember every step of it. Now I don't have to check it 5 times when I leave the building. I know, I remember, I have the picture. I checked everything. Mindfulness. So same thing, you have this need for assurance. So you keep asking the same question. That's an OCD. OCD that I'm good enough. I should have evidence for it. Where are the assurances? And you do that every day. Once, be mindful and say, I am here in this world. I love myself. I do whatever I can to have a good life. And that's the best I can do. And I'm doing my best. The rest of it, I don't give a shit. I just love myself. Wonderful. And remember that. You can do that every day. And through repetition, this becomes your permanent hardwiring. You see, we don't seem to have any specific protection system, mechanism to protect ourselves. And that is where mindfulness comes to the picture. You need to have that mindfulness about you, who you are, and reinforce that every day about you, who you are. Meditate, think about the things you like, how you are. And this is a way to counter all the intrusive thoughts and pop-ups and suggestions and bullshit that shows up that you think you now have to go and have reasons for it to debate with them. You don't. All you have to do is to be mindful about who you are every day, do that, and enjoy that. Simple. And the same thing for you. Shoaib Khan says 23, male, India. Hi Mehran, have been reading Me, My Psyche and I. This book is changing my life positively. I'm really happy. Delighted for that, Shoaib. Thanks for sharing that with us. I'm glad that you enjoyed the book. Shoaib says, I had a doubt when we see some negative people around and we see how we stand in path of our life or this journey, aren't we comparing ourselves indirectly? You're comparing yourself with yourself, that's okay. Because that means how better I can do something. That's fine. That's your choice. But your motivation should not be that I want to be better than that guy just because I want to be better than that guy. Why? Be better than this guy yesterday. Be a better guy today than you were yesterday. That's all. If that's really something you need to compare yourself with. Yeah? But if you see something inspiring, yes, you see a person who is really, I don't know, is a good doctor or is a good architect or is a good inventor or is a good manufacturer. You say, yeah, I want to have that kind of a quality. Not that I want to be better than that guy or like that guy. No, I want to have that result that that person is having. That encourages you. That is a catapult, encouraging factors, inspires you. That's different than wanting to compete with the person. Yeah, the quality of what you're creating, you can always do better. Why not? That's ingenuity. And remember, guys, we have over 1,600 videos on this channel. And we have a expansive collection of videos in regards to OCD and intrusive thoughts, negative thoughts, HOCD, homosexual OCD. And you're welcome to learn a lot more than one topic or the topic that is addressing to, because when you understand that whole logic of the mind and thinking and what thought is, for example, video number 8, I believe, 6, 7, 8 are very interesting and also tells you about where thoughts come from. And it helps you to understand that mechanism. Shoaib, who is reading the Me, My Psyche and I, you will enjoy the video 8. I believe it's video 8. But there's also video 7, I believe, that it says when the powerful mind malfunctions. So you need to watch these videos because these are some viewpoints that you might not have come across. So anyhow, thank you for your feedback, Shoaib. I appreciate that. And Majid says, just had a breakthrough when I was a kid at school. My classmate would joke about me having a bomb in my backpack because I was Iranian. In a majority white school, they laughed at me. Once when I was 14, I got rushed by police as I stepped off a bus so they can look at my bag. The police running towards the police, I guess, running towards me made me think I'm different. Even now that I'm 34, it's always been in the back of my mind, my head. But what you're saying about kids makes sense to me. What shall I do now? I know what may be the cause of not good enough. They're not fitting in the UK, yeah. But remember, UK is a big place. And one police or one authority does not represent the whole entire population and mentality of the country. There are idiots everywhere, in politicians, in the leaders, in the authorities. They're always good or bad. And they are what? Humans. They're not, they just have a position of power. But that is not meaning that they have a position because based on their awareness, wisdom, or ability to see through what their behavior and shortcomings are. So they make such judgments based on lack of information and based on prejudice that it is everywhere in the world. So you got to see beyond that one person or that one act, the act of that stupid kid who obviously couldn't have any other way to make himself look useful or valuable, only by trying to put somebody else down. That was his only choice because he was so incapable of any other way to elevate himself. This is how you should be thinking of them. Those people who rushed you in the street, they are just simply idiots who have not really understood that the world has become a place that allows these kind of judgments, which in most cases are not justified at all. So you got to look beyond that these are human beings. Their position does not give them any higher than what they are. They're human beings with the limitations of all human beings, stupidity, incorrectness of all human beings. So that shouldn't be the deciding or defining factor of who you are. You are. The truth is. The facts are, not the actions of the others. The actions and opinions of other people about you is not what defines you. The truth is what actually it is. Other people are just other people who other people are judging them based on something. So who's judging them? Everybody is judging them, judging each other. That's not the measuring stick for who we are, how valuable and what we are. The measuring stick is simply facts, truth. Not who wields a stick at you. The fact that that stick should not be wielded at all. Or should it? That's what you should be focusing on. If the answer is no, they shouldn't have rushed you, well, that is what your value is. They were wrong, you were right. That's what you should remember with that trigger or that memory. That I won, I was right, these idiots were wrong. But they were stupid not to understand their actions could have an effect on a younger person. So, if you understand that these are limitations of them, it's a reflection of them, not on you, then you understand that your color or their color doesn't make anybody better or worse. Our actions, how we affect and treat ourselves and others, is what defines us. And their actions defines them, not you. Simple as that. And of course, the actions of the kids at school, it simply is a reflection of them, how dumb they are. They're calling people names and thinking that, oh, that's going to make them feel good. Oh, that's what you need to feel good? That means you're a really incapable person. And the people who have been picked on at school should be really empowered by the fact that they were so much better than the others that they had to think that the only way to be better than you, in their mind, was to pick on you. Because otherwise, they were inferior to you. That's why they were picking on you. Who would pick on someone if they don't think they're inferior to them? These kids at school pick on you guys, the ones who are being bullied, because they already know in their hearts that they are inferior to the ones that they want to bully for one reason or another. Otherwise, they wouldn't. Because they want to elevate themselves. So they can elevate themselves in their mind by picking on someone that is already higher than them, so they can maybe, hopefully, chisel something and bring them down, put themselves up because I bullied you who are better than me. That's the idea. Otherwise, don't be fooled for it. The bully is the inferior. Always. All right. Stephen says, why is it that we mainly see what's in front of us and not what could be? Because we live in a physical world and we mostly believe what our eyes sees and what we know. So you know that something is there. It's like saying there's an apple here. So I'm going to believe the apple I can see and I can touch than what this apple's going to do to me if it's not clean. It's just focusing on what you at the moment, think about that apple. You're a positive person. People are usually positive. They think anything that is in front of them, they think about how good the apple is going to be for them. They're not going to be thinking, oh, maybe this apple is laced with some kind of, chemical, or it has to be washed or whatever. I don't know. It's not a great answer, but that's all I've got right now. And he says, for example, going through a breakup, we focus on that person rather than other possibilities, and we try pulling the past back. Yeah, because the other possibilities are not there for you to have a connection with them. But with this one, although it's not working, but it's believable and gives you certain kind of affirmation that I was successful to have a relationship. Therefore, you believe and you reminisce on this one than the ones that you haven't met yet, while the ones you haven't met yet could very well have a far better candidate in there. So it's just because you see it, you're in contact with it, and you've had experience with it that it's possible. So actually, the Apple example wasn't that bad, was it? So just imagine, before you knew this person that you now know, supposedly it didn't work out, before you knew her, she was a possibility in the future that didn't exist, right? But that did not exist became in existence when the time passed. So what wasn't visible and wasn't in front of you actually has the possibility to become visible and be in front of you if you search for it, or if you continue on with your daily life until that juncture is crossed and then that girl shows herself. So right now you don't see other possibilities, but those possibilities exist when you get there. In the same time and space, you meet those girls. Before we really get far off to different realms, let me come back down. It says, pulling the past back into existence. I feel like anything in life is possible, but it's all due to the way we think and believe in. There we go. And Loip says, oh, that's nice way of putting it. I don't know what, but okay. I don't remember what it was. And Nick says, like this video, family, and subscribe. That's right, guys. If you haven't liked the video, please do. And if you haven't subscribed, please do subscribe. We need recognition. Please share the videos in your social media. Talk about us. If you have connections in any newspaper, radio, or television, they're looking for a little bit of bits of pieces, news or whatever, just have us do a review on our channel, or talk to me, interview or something. Put us on the map. YouTube doesn't simply recognize us. Somehow we're not visible. So remember, we have over 1,600 videos on this channel, and we have live talks over about 500, or maybe close to 500. And each time we deal with 20, 30 questions, So we're talking about collectively about maybe, I don't know, 20, 30,000 topics of discussion on this channel, all included. And if that wasn't enough, you can always go on my site, mindthatseekstruth.com, click on the Skype button, and that takes you to my available schedule for one-on-one Skype consultation. And if you make an appointment for 1 hour and you're a new client, I'll throw in another hour and make it 2 hours on that particular appointment, and we can explore together what's concerning you one-on-one on Skype. Having said that, of course, the books are available on the site, mindthatseekstruth.com, and you're welcome to pick up the ebooks. Are much cheaper, 1/10 of the price of the printed one. And who wants to go to mail the print? And we're supposed to not having we're supposed to have the social distancing, so I prefer not to go to the post office and to mail things. So you can pick up the ebook version, and it's, I don't know, $8 or $9, very nominal. 360 pages, me, my psyche, and I highly recommend it. And if you have transient thoughts, there's a book called Transient Thoughts and Me. It's about, I don't know, $6 or $7. And these are very simply written and good books, lots of information there. So me, my psyche, and I highly recommend this book. You get to know a lot about your inner psyche, fear, anxiety, thoughts, consciousness, ego, all discussed there, and a lot more about mind, thoughts, meditation. It's about 60 some odd chapters, and you'll get a lot out of it. And so we have Majid says, it's very true what you're saying. The two kids, one was from a broken family and went mental. The other kid has now severe OCD and is addicted to alcohol and sedatives medications. I see. Well, the OCD part of the other kid is something that everybody has. Everybody has some kind of OCD at one kind or another, either mental, checking something, all kinds of things. So the OCD part is part of humanity. But as I said, these kids, obviously with that kind of behavior, have had problems. Mental problems or family problems or abuse problem. They may have been abused. You don't know these kids who do these other bullying to other people, it's because of their own frustrations that they're not good enough. And that could have many other reasons. Majid says, this is awesome that I have had the realization. Thank you, Mehran. You're quite welcome. You're quite welcome. Emmanuel says, for me, it's still hard to understand why so many people want to travel to places where everything is already known or revealed. For example, what's so exciting about visiting Paris or Venice? Well, because they never seen it, or they seen it and they liked it. And people usually go to familiar places. And just because you see a place that it's the first time, that's great. But if you want to go see it again, that doesn't mean just because you've seen it, you shouldn't go there again. Well, we've seen our own home. We come home every time. It's because that's a place we feel good, we feel safe, we like it. The energy is good, the experience is good, so we keep going back. If that's the case, we should say, well, we were born, we've seen it, everything is exposed, so what are we doing here then? It's a journey. It's not just experience. Everything is new every day. Even if the place is not changed, it's a physicality, but everything in the place is in movement with energy. So the energy, the changes in the energy and getting more of that good energy of that particular physical place is why you go back to that place. Not because, you already seen that place. Yeah, you've seen it. But things that are happening in what you see are new every time, every moment. So that is what you follow, energy. I guess your other questions are also in my answer already covered. Majid says, Mehran, please bring out audiobooks soon. Please, thanks. Majid, I don't know. I mean, if I want to do 360 pages of audiobook, I got to be sitting here and reading it, which of course I don't have anything else to do really, but and if I want to pay for it, that somebody does it or robotic will do, it becomes really robotic. People fall asleep before they finish one chapter. But I don't know, maybe eventually I would have to. I don't know how popular that is. Maybe it is popular. Maybe people will actually prefer to put that in their ear and then do their things or sit and not have to read. I can understand that. Yeah, maybe. But it's a hell of a lot. I mean, writing those 3 books at the same time took 2 years. And a few years preparation, and then 2 years actually putting them into a collection of writing in one place, all the things I'd written, all the things I've said and all that. And then editing and editing and editing. I almost threw up by the time I was finishing the editing. I was in the library every night for over a year and a half after it was ready. And then the designer, the book designer, the paragraphs, the fonts and all that. So it was lots of work in there. Now, reading it, it's going to take lots of time. 360 pages. I mean, imagine what kind of so many chapters. But I do see the merits. I understand. Signs Miranda says, I'm scared I won't find a partner in the future with same beliefs and values as me. I'm 17. Well, you're too early to be. If you were 77 and you were scared about what you just said, well, I could say, well, you know what? I would still say there's still going to be possibilities for you to find someone. At age 17, you have no business to be scared of such things at all. It's like you want to bring the future now, so I can be sure there's going to be a future. What do you mean? Did you have a picture of today 10 years ago? You didn't. But you're here. So there is a future. And looking at the past, that it has traveled to here, you can be sure that this will also travel to somewhere else, some other point in time. And on this journey, you will meet lots of things and lots of experiences. And then you'll decide which one is appropriate for you, rather than sitting around and being afraid of future. Why should you be afraid of future? It's only today. There is no future. Right now, today, right now. You focus on that. Do your best today, and tomorrow will take care of yourself. Because tomorrow you'll do the best again. Because tomorrow is today again. So you'll do your best every day, and that will take care of it. Majid says, oh no, your voice is the best. It's very, very popular. It will boost the book's sales. Yeah, maybe. I have to admit, I've gotten that comment quite a bit in my life. So maybe that's the way. I don't know. Majid says, how long would it take you to read a book, Mehran? Treat it like that you'll do it in no time, maybe do one book at a time. Yeah, it's like that means I gotta read every chapter, every paragraph once before I record it to know the rhythm of it and to present it properly. But it's something, it's a project. And Loip 9114, it's Philip, says, my ex broke up. Philip, where is the protocol? Let me see. Did you have a message before? So maybe you have. No. Philip, I need. Oh, there is. My name is Philip. I mean, oh, okay. Let's see. Let's see if I can find that. If you guys add that information on every question that you have, then I don't have to look for it. It'll be faster. Philip, I don't have anything from you, so please put the protocol, gender, age, and where you're tuning in from. Yeah, I don't see it here. So while I read your question, Philip, put that information in, please. Gender, age, and where you tuning in from. Philip says, my ex broke up with me just over 1 month ago. She proposed to be friend. Already said I didn't see her that way, but I noticed that the thought of losing her forever start changing my thoughts on it. How can I deal with these thoughts and truly move on? Philip, male, 28, Netherlands. Well, your ex broke up with you and wants to be friends. Well, and you say, but I notice the thought of losing her forever start changing my thoughts on it. Losing her forever. So while you're friend, it will be okay to lose her because you're not going to be there when she finds another boyfriend, right? And she gets married, let's say. So it's okay if you're around and you lose her, but it's not okay to simply move on. She wants to be friend. Why would you want to be friend? I mean, the way I look at it, you get acquainted, you get to know a girl, then you guys become friends, then you become more friends and fond of each other, and then you become, you date, and then you become boyfriend, girlfriend. And then if it breaks off, where was it supposed to go? Further, right? Maybe live together or something. When it breaks off, and then you want to become friend, and things supposed to advance. So where is this going to go now? It's not going to go to the same place because we know where it goes. You went there and it broke off. So what's the purpose of being a friend now? Other than watching what she does with the other guys? Or how she reacts and you're still infatuated with her? If you can handle it and not look at her as ex-girlfriend and don't have any intimate feelings about her or be concerned about her in some extraordinary ways, okay, be friends. But if you think by accepting to be friends, those feelings that you have will also go away and not be there because you decided to be friends, you're going to be torturing yourself. So you can be friends, not enemies. That's fine, not to be enemies, wishing each other well and so on. That's great. But you don't have to hang around with her. Be friend in contact, but don't check her on the internet, on social venues, nothing. Just, yeah, okay, we're friends. If she calls you or needs something, you see what you can do for her. But don't hang out with her because that's going to make you feel uncomfortable. Because she says in her mind, you guys are not together. And she's going to be chatting up with other guys and let other guys chatting her up. And you're going to be pissed off because you're in the background and right in front of you, she's having a moment with some other guy. So being friend is okay if you can handle it, meaning you don't expect anything and you've written her off. But if it's gonna affect your behavior or emotions while you're there in front of her, whether you want to talk with other girls or she's talking with other guys, then it's not gonna be fun for you. All right. So, So how long has it been? 1 hour and 48 minutes. Okay, guys. Looks like we have people from UK right now here, don't we? And that's pretty late, isn't it? Is it? No, it's not that late. It's like 1:22 or something. Or no. Yeah, 1:22 or something. And Netherlands, it's probably what, 2 o'clock in the morning? You guys probably want to go sleep. So before you guys leave me, I'm going to leave you. How about that? I'm going to beat you to it. If there are no more questions, guys, we've been here for about an hour and a half, more than that. Where is the timer here? I keep missing it. 1 hour, 49 minutes, 1 hour, 50. It's just about 2 hours. So we've answered all the questions. So it's time for me to now say, I love you all. Thank you very much for being here. And I look forward to talk to you again, hopefully tomorrow. In the meantime, be good to yourself, to the others, and wash your hands. Talk to you soon.